Page 24, rockets. At the top of page 24, they're introducing you to some new stuff to learn. See, something about music, it's part of the game, I guess, is that all these things I keep teaching you and keep presenting to you, you have to remember those now forever. It's not like a history or a government test or some test where you can just study for that test and once it's over you can forget it and go on with your life. It doesn't work that way. All this stuff you got to know. So let's start and talk about this. New time signature. In the past we've always had 4/4 as a time signature. Well, now we're going to have 3/4. Remember, the top note tells us how far to count. So now we only have to count to 3. That's wonderful news for those of us who are lazy, because it'll let 1, 2, 3 on it. Okay. So it's also, the normal definition is it's how many beats in a measure. I find that boring. I just want to know how far to count. I ain't worried about how many beats are in a measure. So I'm going to count to 3. The bottom number, it tells us what we're counting, because if we're going to count something, I don't know what it is, right? So the 4 is the same as what we've had before. It's a quarter note. And so there is the equivalent of 3 quarter notes in every measure. We're going to count to 3. Look at the music here on rockets. I know they give you a line there where you can clap and tap and say whatever you want to do. You go knock yourself out on that. I prefer to use the music. Rockets. In the first couple of measures, there's all quarter notes, but you'll notice there's 3 quarter notes in every measure. That makes sense because the 3/4 time. Then at the end of the last line, you get that half note with that dot behind it, and that's the other thing they're presenting. A half note with a dot behind it is a dotted half note. Duh. And so let's understand the rule, because I'm going to repeat this forever. It is a dotted note. Most any note can be dotted. The dot means something, and it's the same rule for all the notes. That's what I'm saying. If I can get you to understand the rule, you can apply it to any note and figure it out eventually. And that is, the dot gets half the value of the note. So you have to, there's some math involved. So how many beats does the note get, and you simply take that number of beats and divide it in half, and that's how many beats the dot gets. Then you add them together, and that's the total number of beats that the dotted note gets. If I lost you yet, if you've fallen down, I'd like, I can't do this, I want a calculator. Stick around. Let's just go over it slowly. In this piece, 3/4 time, a half note's going to get 2 counts. Gets worth 2 quarter notes. It's 2 beats. Half note gets 2 beats. Should I say this or this? I don't mean to give you a nasty hand signal. Forget all. I don't know nothing about the hand signals. I'm talking 2 beats, whatever they are. Piece. I don't know. Well, if the half note gets 2, then the dot gets half of that is 1. So the dot gets a beat. Put them together, and the dotted half note gets 3 beats in 3/4 time. You see, if the time signature changes and the bottom number is not a 4 anymore, then that half note gets however many beats. So it depends on the time signature. That's why I keep saying in 3/4. In 4/4 time, it's the same thing, because the bottom number's a 4. It's still counting quarter notes. And a half note gets 2 quarter notes, is the same as 2 quarter notes. So in this case, the dotted half note gets 3 beats. Well, there's 3 beats in a measure, so that's handy, because then it's the whole measure. Anyhow, that works out. So these dotted half notes, you get them in the left hand. You see on the first line, the 3rd measure over, and that chord, G7 chord, it's a dotted half note. You're going to hold it down for the measure while you're playing those 3 beats, and then going on. That's it. It's really not that complicated, but some people really struggle with dotted notes. So I'm just trying to make it super, super clear, because it's going to get a little more intense as we go on and introduce other dotted notes. That's about it for rockets. The 3/4 time, it's 2 lines long. The hands are playing together again. You can see where the melody is. It starts out here and then goes to the right hand. And these chords in the left hand, that's not melody. So play the chords soft and bring out the melody. We want to hear the melody. melody there. The first line you get an F forte, that's the melody. I said that before? I can't remember. I can't remember anything anymore, so I keep repeating myself. Yeah, that's the way it is. And the second line, it's piano. And now they're putting the dynamics where they belong, between the staves. And you have to know it applies to melody. So if the second line is soft, that's melody. The left hand has to be really soft. It's like, so. Yeah, almost so you can't hear it, but that's good practice. You need to practice that control because it doesn't come overnight for most people. It'll come after months of practicing. Don't expect quick results on a lot of this stuff. It's going to take some time. If you are wanting to do this and want instant gratification to be able to do this now, this is not the channel for you. I don't teach instant gratification. I teach long-term, slow learning challenge stuff. So that's the dynamics. First line's loud, second line's soft, melody. Now there's an important thing at the bottom. Important. They're saying to play it again, and this time do the second line an octave higher. An octave is 8 notes. An OCT means 8. And remember, we've had intervals. Well, an interval of an eighth is called an octave, and it's number to number, or excuse me, letter to letter. A to A, it's an octave. F to F, octave. D to D, octaves. Very important in piano, or in music in general. And they're simply telling you to play the second line, the soft line, go up an octave. So you simply pretend middle C goes up an octave on the piano, and instead of here, you go here. That's what they're telling you to do. Then they're also saying that now you can play it again, where this time you play the first line an octave higher, up here, loud, and the second line 2 octaves higher. So then you got to go up another one, up here. If you have a short keyboard, you can't do that. You just use the keys you have. Sometimes you can go 2 octaves. I don't have that many notes. In that case, you stick with 1 octave. But otherwise, you go up 2 octaves. The idea is you get some experience of playing in different parts of the keyboard. You get to hear these other sounds, is all. In the play with me, we're just going to play it one time. I'll let you do that octave stuff on your own. Now, if you are going to move, let's say that you're going to play it again, but you're going to play the second line an octave higher, you have to move your hands because the beat has to go on. You can't mess up the beat. It's go on, 2, however fast you're going. And so you have to be able to get your hands moved and in position in time to keep going when it's time. Well, you have a quarter rest at the end of the first line, and that's when you're going to move. So during that rest, that one beat, you can move both hands or one hand at a time. If you move one hand at a time, I recommend you move the left hand. Get the right hand out of the way and get the left hand where it goes because it plays first. Then as the left hand is playing, you got time to get the right hand where it goes. So the last measure, the first line is here. Then during the rest, I'm going to move the left hand up and then put the right hand up. It's easier than trying to get both hands at the same time. Now you can do that, nice practice, but I like to also practice moving one hand at a time because that's going to come in handy in a lot of situations. So just do that. So the last couple measures of the first line is here, 1, 2, 1, 2, rest, and then you're ready to go on. I'd like to play Rockets with you, just as it's written, not moving around or nothing, just to check the notes and the rhythm. So we're going to go slow. It says moderately fast. It's got words, so if you were going to sing it, how fast would you sing it? We're going to go slow. I'll leave it up to you on how fast you think it should go. It's a personal thing. There is no one right answer. This is moderately fast. No. So put your hands in C position. I'll give us 3 counts now because there's only 3 beats in a measure. I only have to count to 3. Yay. 1, ready, go. One, two, rest.